absolutely everything you think you know about the Apple iPad, because this iPad Pro 12.9-inch M1 from 2021 is an absolute game changer. With things like the XDR display, Apple's M1 chip, and almost 13 inches of screen real estate, there's really not much that can compete with this iPad Pro. But is the iPad Pro 12.9-inch M1 really worth the price tag? Let's find out. Now, although you can no longer pick these models up brand new from Apple, the RRP of this device when new was $1,099. These devices are still going for around £1,100. Now, it really depends on where you're looking to purchase this device. I managed to pick mine up for £780, which also included the Magic Keyboard accessory. All in all, you'll probably find an iPad Pro 12.9-inch M1 for around the £800 mark. I wouldn't say this is a particularly bad price point, considering these were $1,099 brand new. However, you just have to be smart with where you're looking to purchase it from. I will leave a few links in the description for those of you who just want to click and see what the going prices are on places like Amazon and eBay. Now, size isn't everything, unless we're referring to the iPad Pro, because this 12.9-inch is a big boy. And for many, it's actually going to be slightly too big. It's really controversial because it completely depends on what you want to use the iPad for. For instance, if you're planning on just gaming on it, then I'd actually recommend the 11-inch. Despite having a non-XDR display, the 11-inch is actually much easier to hold. However, if you're using the iPad for being creative, watching films, basically anything that actually uses the screen real estate, then I will 110% recommend the 12.9-inch. It's actually got the most screen real estate from any product, and by product I mean iPad. Touching back on that display, it is truly stunning. It has 120 Hz refresh rate and 1600 nits. It pretty much blows anything and everything else out of the water currently. There is a downside to the big size of the screen, and that is the fact that it weighs a lot more than the 11-inch. Add the accessories to this and you're not actually looking far off the weight of a MacBook Pro. Unfortunately, it is just as heavy and inconvenient as a MacBook. The only plus side is that you don't have to open the screen like a MacBook. Now, onto the performance. The performance of the iPad can't really be utilised as it could be on a MacBook, and that's purely because the app support. Now, although there are app supports for Logic, Premiere Rush, things like this, the truth is they're quite muted to the versions of the full ones that you'd find on a MacBook. So we're not quite there in terms of an iPad being a laptop. However, having said that, there is absolutely no excuse as to why the iPad can't run AAA games. In fact, this thing is so powerful you can run absolutely any game at max setting without any lag or FPS drop whatsoever. Now that's pretty cool. This is also thanks to the fact it has Wi-Fi 6, which gives you up to 1.2 gigabytes of speed, meaning zero lag. As most games on the App Store use a figure of RAM, memory and storage, all combined, the M1 chip is perfect for this. Not to mention again, the fact that it has a liquid retina XDR display, which truly is phenomenal. Now, quite an important one is the battery life, which is what a lot of people are quite concerned about with getting a bigger iPad. Now, the battery life on the iPad Pro 12.9 is surprisingly good. Now, traditionally we get a bit more life out of our devices the bigger they go. For instance, the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max. However, with this, you're actually powering the display, and that XDR is taking up a little bit more power. So there is a bit of give and take with this. However, you should get around 9 to 10 hours of actually using the iPad, depending on what you're using it for. Personally, this thing can last me 2 to 3 days without me having to charge it. One thing to remember is that batteries do get progressively worse as they are lithium powered batteries. What this means is if you're looking to buy a second-hand device, be sure to check the description, check the photos, ask the questions before making the purchase, just to see whether or not the battery is still healthy. Just for reference, a healthy battery is somewhere that cycle count is under around 800. Now, needless to say, we all absolutely love the idea of having an iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard accessory and the Apple Pencil. This is the ultimate trifecta for all Apple enthusiasts. All we know is that it gives us a very strange sense of happiness knowing that we have all of these accessories for our iPad. Now, that sense of happiness is soon extracted from you once you see the price tag that comes with these. Now, bear in mind I have both Apple Keyboard and the Magic Pencil. So let me dissect what I have and what I think you should get. Starting with the Apple Pencil, this is more for creators or creatives. I say this with one stuck to the top of my iPad, and I'm not by any means creative. However, it is a £129 accessory that you probably don't need. Just remember, the whole point of an iPad was to use your finger as a stylus. That was Steve Jobs' vision. Having an Apple Pencil sort of makes it more like a Microsoft tablet. Make of that what you will, but unless you really need an Apple Pencil, I wouldn't actually recommend getting one. How often do I use mine? Not often enough. Also, I can't draw to save my life, so. The keyboard, on the other hand, is actually more practical. I wouldn't go as far to say this turns the iPad into a MacBook, but it definitely adds an element of more usability to the iPad. It basically gives you a cursor and gives you a always there keyboard that's physical. A really nice feature to have the iPad floating above the keyboard as well, which really separates it and makes it feel a bit more premium. Again, this is not a cheap accessory. If I was looking to buy one, I'd get it secondhand for sure. The same with the pencil. The truth about the accessories is, regardless of what I say or what anyone else ever says, if you like that accessory, you should get that accessory, whether you're going to use it or not. And that applies to everything Apple do. So if you want those device accessories, you get them. It's fair to say that this particular design of iPad is absolutely stunning, and that Apple have come a long way from the original iPad. Now, is it the best device that you can buy for the money? Probably not, because it is still very, very expensive, and there still needs to be a bit more give from Apple on this to make it really worth the price point. But would I recommend it? 110%. Now, needless to say, do not make a decision based on my opinion. Obviously, this is just my opinion, and you have your own opinion. What I will say is that I've had the iPad Pro 11-inch, and I've also had the iPad Pro 12.9-inch, and they're both pretty close in terms of features, what they can do, and what they offer. Which one do you guys prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. And if this video has helped at all, please feel free to give me a thumbs up, as it always shows support. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.